Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we're going to be taking a look at the least annoying shield operator in Siege, Osa. Osa is a 1-speed 3-armor attack operator that specialises in post-plant and area denial of sorts, as well as fragging. Osa has good guns, secondary gadgets, and a very powerful primary gadget when played correctly. Good Osa players will be patient, holding angles to cut off rotations and supporting their team from afar. Let's learn how to play her. Osa is equipped with her portable panes, of which she gets 2. These are 2 bulletproof shields that Osa can carry around and place wherever she wants as long as there's space. When placed down, the pane will expand, so there are 2 bits of extra glass extruding from the original pane at a slight angle, slightly surrounding Osa, giving her more protection from certain angles. Whilst holding the shield out, you can only walk, crouch, and deploy the shield on the ground. Any other action will put the shield away. A Talonate shield, when held, will cover your torso and head if a player looks straight on, but will leave a massive gap for your legs to be shot. When crouched, your feet and ankles are still exposed. When deployed, the shield will cover the entirety of your body when crouched. Just bear in mind that Osa likes to lift the shield up a bit and slam it into the ground, so more of your body will be exposed during the deployment animation. It's also worth noting that you need to look directly at the defender that's shooting at you when you're holding out your shield, because otherwise they'll get an angle on your body and shoot you. If you do choose to scout ahead of your team with your shield out, make calls with your mic so they can play further back and assist you from afar, so it's less dangerous for you and your teammate can get free kills whilst the enemy's focus is on you and not them. You can deploy your shield on the floor as well as snapping it to door frames and window frames too. Doorways are especially useful because you can peek off the shield, and if it gets destroyed you can run into cover with ease so you aren't left exposed by the lack of a shield. You can hold your shield horizontally when rappelling and deploy your shield either on the top or bottom of a window. I find that the best positions with Osa shields are ones you can safely peek from whilst holding power angles that cut off defender rotations, making it incredibly difficult for them to move around the map and site. I like to set up my shields outside of main breach to get 2 separate protected angles looking into site to cut off 2 rotations. As for doorways, make sure they aren't easily flankable and that it takes the defenders a lot of time to get round to you so that you can apply as much pressure as possible before getting contested. As for windows, placing them upside down is way better than the right way up because it takes about 3 to 5 business days for you to climb up to the peak hole when aiming down sights, but when upside down you can slide down the rappel rope for a quicker kill. Your portable panes have a red hydraulic canister that can be shot out to completely destroy your shield. But Gawain, I hear you asking, why would I destroy my own shield? If you're in a situation where you're low on time and you have a shield in the doorway to sight and you don't want to vault over it because then you're vulnerable whilst in the animation and you don't have time to pick up the shield, you can shoot the canister and just walk straight through. If you're in basically the same situation but with a window rappel, you can fly straight through your shield, destroying it but looking like a badass whilst doing it. Osa is a post-plant queen too. If your teammates get the diffuser down, set up your shield so that they're watching the diffuser and the defenders will have basically nothing to do except panic. A few cool interactions to know quickly is that you can destroy barricades instantly by starting the deployment animation and stopping it when the barricade gets destroyed. The other one is that you can disable Aruni gates as if a projectile has just hit them by placing down your shield in a doorway. Windows and walls are slightly less consistent about disabling the gates. To summarize, you can scout ahead of your team and communicate to them whilst holding your shield out, and you can play positions that are usually dangerous with the correct shield setup. Hold angles from a distance with your shield to cut off defender rotations and cover your teammate that's planting and the diffuser once it's down. Osa's primary weapon options are the PDW-9 submachine gun and the 5.56 XI assault rifle. Her secondary weapon is the PMM as there are no other options available. I personally run the PDW-9 paired with the PMM of course. The PDW is a great SMG because it's got a crazy fast fire rate, decent damage, low recoil and a huge mag size of 50 bullets. The fast fire rate makes it easy for you to get headshots when peeking from your shield, and the large magazine allows you to pre-fire the enemy from behind the shield too, making getting kills even easier. The only thing that can be difficult is playing with this gun from range due to the damage fall off, but if you don't hit the head, a little bit of chip damage is fine anyway. You've got access to the 1.5 times scope for a little bit of magnification too to make playing from range a bit easier. I found that the PDW does need a little bit of getting used to if you aren't used to playing with guns with fast fire rate and lower than average damage, but it is definitely Osa's better option in my opinion. As for the 5.56 XI, it's a brilliant assault rifle with a very good damage stat and a good fire rate too. It's got low recoil and access to every scope up to the 2.5 times, making it a good option to play with from range. Whilst it is a consistently good assault rifle, I find that the PDW suits Osa better because it can peek her shields and get kills quicker than the 5.56. It is really personal preference on which primary gun you use, but I would recommend learning how to use the PDW-9 as you can get more out of it. The PMM is the best handgun in the game by far in my opinion, so it's great if you somehow run out of bullets in the PDW as it hits super hard. In terms of secondary gadgets, Osa gets access to 2 smoke grenades, 2 impact EMP grenades and 2 claymores. It's situational preference for these gadgets because they all suit Osa very well in a variety of different scenarios. I just try to use the smoke grenades whenever I can. To start off with the smokes, they're great for assisting your teammates when going for a site execute and planting the diffuser. You can use them to cut off sightlines and cover your planting teammate, making it harder for the defenders to counter the plant. Impact EMP grenades allow you to assist your hard breacher in opening the main wall, so drone out whatever's electrifying or jamming the wall so they can open it. You can also use your impact EMPs to disable Jaeger ADSs that are stacked together and Maestro cams so you can shoot them out. Claymores can watch your run out whilst rappelling and playing on a shield that you placed on a window. These can also watch your flank when you are sat behind one of your shields near to sight. All of these are decent uses of your secondary gadget slot. You just need to look at your team comp and see who's bringing what so you can adapt your loadout to what you need to bring. The prep phase for Osa is pretty simple. You can either save your drone or set up a flank cam to watch any areas you plan on entering the building from during the action phase. Just remember that you can act as a human drone with your shield, so setting up a flank cam near to where you're pushing from is a safer bet so you make sure there are no traps there and can head straight into the building. To start off the action phase, push towards whatever entrance into sight you plan on taking. If you need to get inside the building, get your shield out and break the barricade on the doorway or window instantly by starting the deployment animation, waiting for the barricade to break and then stopping the deployment animation so you can carry on. Call out for your team if you spot any enemies so they can take care of them. If you're setting up on an outside balcony like outside main breach for cache and CCTV on Clubhouse, then place your claymores down if you have them so you don't get run out on and deploy your shields. If you have impact EMP grenades, use them on main breach so that you and your team can get into sight. Regardless of if you're in or out of the building and where your shields are positioned, you should now be focusing on supporting your team by cutting off defender rotations and picking off anyone that dares peek you. This is why the PDW is great, because it allows you to crouch up and down without fully completing the standing animation whilst pre-firing and killing the enemy with a headshot. Now, if you have smoke grenades, then use them to block sight lines and cover your teammate that goes in to plant the diffuser. Reposition your shields so that they are watching the diffuser and sit back, relax and shoot anyone that dares to enter your line of sight to win the round. Osa has a few counters: Smoke, Tachanka, Goyo, Maestro, Clash, Castle, Impact Grenades, Nitro Cells and Melees. Smoke, Tachanka and Goyo all have damaging area of effect gadgets, meaning they can hurt you from behind your shield and hurt you when you're holding your shield. To prevent this, run away or kill that operator using their gadget on you. Other than that, there's nothing you can do. Maestro turrets can shoot out the red hydraulic canister at the bottom of your shield, causing it to break entirely. To prevent this, use an Impact EMP grenade to disable the gadget and shoot the turret out. Clash's taser can knock your shield back when you're holding it out so her teammates can shoot you easier. To prevent this, put your shield away and shoot the enemies that swing you, then deal with the Clash. Castle barricades stop you from deploying your shields on doorways or windows. To prevent this, break the barricades by meleeing them. Impact grenades and nitro cells will shatter your shields and deal damage to you too. I find when holding my shield out I become a nitro cell magnet, and when I've got my shield on a window I'm an impact grenade magnet. There isn't anything you can do about this other than shooting the C4 out first or killing the defender about to throw something at you. Melees will splinter the glass of your shield so you can't see through it, rendering your shield basically useless. To prevent this, don't let enemies get close enough to your shield to melee it by shooting them. Use your shields to instantly break barricades to get yourself and your team into the building quicker and to save time if the defenders have barricaded off bits of sight. Use the PDW-9 to delete enemies by staying crouched behind your shield and popping up with a pre-fire aimed at their head and crouching back down again quickly. Apply pressure to the defenders by placing your shields and watching angles they want to peek and swing from so they get impatient enough that they swing you and you shoot and kill them. Use the secondary gadget of your choice depending on what operators and gadgets your team team already has chosen. Be patient, wait for the right time to peek and make the enemy feel like a fool trying to wait for you to peek. Overall, Osa is a hard operator to play in my opinion, solely because utilising her gadget properly without getting it destroyed can be very difficult. Learn how to keep your shield alive, how to position them properly, how to be more patient than the enemy, how to use the PDW9 properly, how to adapt your loadout to your team's needs, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Osa player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends as it does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As always, all of the clips you saw in this video were taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen and in the description. Thunderbird will be next for the Siege series, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.